We do have those 2 cases from yesterday. Can you give us an update at all on what the numbers are this morning?
Oh, look, Peter, we give our updates at 11 a.m. every morning, but just to let you know that I'm pleased with how things are going. Obviously, what remains of concern for us is that there's at least one, possibly more people who've had the virus for several days, who've been mixing in the community. We don't know where they've been or what their occupation is or what they do or how many people they've been exposed to, which is why we're taking these very proportionate restrictions or responses over the next few days. And that's to make sure that we prevent a super spreading event. The reason why we limit, for example, people coming to your home to 20 is that we know within households is how the disease spreads most rapidly. And if there's only 20 people in a household, it means only 20 people are exposed as opposed to a larger number. And indoors, we're saying to people, go about your business. If you've got plans for Mother's Day, keep doing it, if it's outdoors or indoors. But if you're sitting down in a theatre or going to a place of worship, just wear a mask until we know this risk is over.
And because of that, you don't seem too worried about this one, Premier. Am I wrong?
Well, look, I always worry. I'm always concerned. But I also know that New South Wales has been through this a few times, and every time we go through a community outbreak, we learn from that and we apply it to the next case. And certainly we're in a position now in New South Wales where we feel that we get the right balance, not always, but in the main we get the right balance between keeping everybody safe and keeping businesses and the economy going. And that's the healthy balance we need. And of course, we always base our decisions on the health advice and the science. And so we look at where the cases have been, we look at the situation on a daily basis and then make decisions accordingly. And we're hopeful that within the next few days we'll feel comfortable enough to go back to what we were on Thursday morning come Monday or Tuesday next week. OK. Queensland and WA so far, they haven't closed the border, Premier. Are you disappointed that New Zealand has popped the bubble though? Oh, look, I am, because when we have other states or New Zealand have cases, we just make sure we're monitoring the people coming from those areas where those venues have been or those hotspots. But, you know, that's a decision they've taken. It's not a decision New South Wales would have taken. But these are the times in which we live, and we just have to get on and make the most of it. Pleasingly, their pause is only for 2 days, so I'm hoping it'll go back to normal on day 3. And are you surprised that Queensland and WA have kept things open so far? Well, I'm pleased because I hope New South Wales has been able to demonstrate to the other states that you can have a better balance of keeping everybody safe. And it is scary in a pandemic to make these decisions. It is scary. But it's always about making the right balance of not putting additional burden on your citizens or on businesses unless you absolutely have to. And that's why in New South Wales we always like to keep things open. For example, you'll notice on this occasion we haven't changed the number of people that can go to a venue or go to an event apart from your household. We've essentially said to people, business as usual, just be extra careful if you're at an indoor event, wear a mask. But if you're going out for dinner or lunch for Mother's Day, enjoy yourself. The staff will be wearing a mask, but you can enjoy yourself, keep the booking. Make sure you're sensible. And if you want to have 100 people, if you're going to have 100 people into your home for Mother's Day, we're saying we'll have a picnic or a barbecue outside instead. Outdoors, obviously, the risk is much lower and it's a healthy way to enjoy Mother's Day. But in any event, business as usual, just be safe, be extra cautious and know that there is some element of risk because there's at least one person who's been active in the community who doesn't know they've had the virus, and we worry about where they may have been exposed. OK, just a final one, Premier. It looks as though the repatriation flights are going to resume from India next week. It's expected that they all head to Howard Springs, though. Would you be open to allowing some more return travellers into New South Wales? Absolutely, and we've said that from the outset. We just want to make sure it's a safe way to bring them home and take care of them. Many of these people, many returned Australians have gone through a lot of trauma and have been stressed. That's why our government, no matter what we've had to go through in New South Wales, we've had more than, around 3,000 Aussies come back home through Sydney Airport every single week. At any given time, we have 5,500 people in hotel quarantine. We have a compassionate approach to Aussies wanting to come back home, and we will certainly make sure that we get people home in a safe way. Gladys Berejiklian, New South Wales Premier, appreciate your time this morning. Talk to you soon. Thank you, Peter.